going? And welcome back to another episode of Mood for Feud. I'm your host Katia, and today I am in the mood for Sabrina Carpenter feuds. We are going to be getting all into the drama between Sabrina, Shawn Mendes, and Camila Cabello. This is a two-parter, so if you haven't done so already, make sure you check out the part 1 episode that came out last week, which was all about the Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo, Joshua Bassett love triangle. Our girl Sabrina, she loves her love triangles. Triangles are her favorite shape, I believe. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. Remember, if you do enjoy the show and would like to support it, then please do leave a rating. You can leave a written review on Apple Podcasts, and you can follow the show so you never miss an episode. I'm also on Instagram at Mood for Feud, and I'm always looking to chat pop culture, so send me a message there. Oh my goodness, who on their 2024 bingo card thought that we were going to be talking about Sabrina and Shawn Mendes? Because let me tell you, I did not see this coming at all. I cannot believe how relevant this love triangle is this year. I was so not expecting to revisit the lore. I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, I just forgot that Shawn and Sabrina even dated. I'm like, that happened 20 years ago. What do you mean we're still talking about it? And also, it was like a 1-minute event that I'm also pretty sure most people at the time thought was PR. And I didn't even think it was PR because I was like, it was nothing. Like it was such a blip, the Shawn and Sabrina sightings, you know, like, I mean, we'll get into it, but I did not think that it was going to be so relevant, and I did not think that it would inspire this many songs on Short and Sweet, because when I think back to how I felt about it last year when Sabrina and Shawn were first spotted together, it was like they were spotted and then a couple months later, like, they weren't spotted anymore. If anything, I thought they might have just been fucking. But now that Short and Sweet has come out and Sabrina has used this as like an opportunity to give her 2 cents on the alleged drama, it's making me think that they definitely had some kind of relationship, or at least like it wasn't a one-off hookup or even just like a couple of hookups. Like I feel like they obviously had some kind of connection, because there are so many songs on Short and Sweet that are about Shawn Mendes, and I truly did not expect Sabrina to give him this kind of airtime on her biggest album of her career so far. I have to say, and I'd love to know if you agree with me on this or not, there are so many similarities between Joshua Bassett, the man in the middle of the last love triangle we covered, and Shawn Mendes. They're almost interchangeable to me. They write similar music. They're both very like sad boy hours in their feelings with their guitar, writing these like, I don't know, sad boy songs. They've both received major speculation about their sexuality, which, to be honest, like, that could come from because they write music about their feelings, which I'm like, don't be like that, guys. But there's also other signs, okay? Like, it's the whole thing. Joshua Bassett did end up confirming that he's part of the queer community, but Shawn Mendes never has. And it's like this kind of, I guess, internet joke that Shawn is queer, but he's definitely never come out or confirmed it. Not that he needs to, but like, he's never said anything about it. But I just find it interesting that both of these singers, both Josh and Shawn, have had this kind of speculation surrounding them as well. It's like another thing that they have in common. And if I'm being honest, they're both just kind of boring and yet find themselves in these love triangles with the most fiery personalities, with some of the most talented women in the pop industry. And I'm like, how do you do that? Because to me, Josh and Shawn are honestly, they're like rice. They're just plain, boring. I don't get the hype personally. And then you've got 2 powerhouses on either side of you, like Olivia Rodrigo and Sabrina Carpenter, or Camila Cabello and Sabrina Carpenter. It's like, how do you do that? Let me know the secrets. And it honestly, it reminds me of high school, when you'd have like the most gorgeous, interesting, smart, funny girl in your year group. Why was she always dating like the most boring rice, plain white t-shirt boy that you've ever seen? It's like some kind of recurring pattern in this universe, and it makes no sense to me. Before we get into the feud, we're going to start off with a little relationship timeline of Shawn and Camila Cabello as a little bit of background, and then we'll get all into the drama with Sabrina Carpenter. And of course, we will be breaking down a lot of the songs from Short and Sweet that I think are about Shawn and Camila. So Shawn is a Leo. He's a fire sign. I don't know why that surprised me. I just wasn't, I don't know what I thought he was. To be honest, a water sign, because he's so emotional in his songs. Maybe he's a water rising. I'm not too sure. And then Camila, she is a water sign. She is a Pisces, as you might remember from the Fifth Harmony episode. Now, Shawn and Camila meet in 2014 because Fifth Harmony and Shawn Mendes are both openers for Austin Mahomes' concert. So that's when they first meet. There's like a V Magazine article from 2019, and Camila and Shawn discuss meeting at this tour. And Shawn recalls that like Camila was the only one on the tour that would actually talk to him because he was so shy and he would just stay in his tour bus and keep to himself, and she would like make the effort to, you know, go and talk to him. And that he also reveals that he thought Camila was like kind of crazy. To be honest, I feel like she would have probably just been really outgoing, and maybe that came across as crazy while he's sitting alone in his tour bus. So it was like a real opposites attract moment, maybe. You know, she was super outgoing, big personality. I think she remembers she was like doing cartwheels around the place and shit like that, and then he's like sitting with his guitar in his bus like, oh my god. It's giving Jughead and Betty. Let's not talk about Riverdale in the first 10 minutes. So that's when they first meet. And then in 2015, that's when they release I Know What You Did Last Summer. And if you recall, because we did cover this in the Fifth Harmony Camila Cabello episode, Ally Brooks from Fifth Harmony and Camila were at this Taylor Swift concert, and Shawn was an opener. And then after the show, Camila meets Shawn backstage, and then this is where they write the song together. And the internet belief is that Fifth Harmony were completely unaware that Camila was working on this song with Shawn until it came out. And it was also the first time that she released music independent of Fifth Harmony. So in that feud, we're dealing with some messy people here, but in her feud with Fifth Harmony, that's kind of the first inklings that we have that Camila's trying to break out of the group and trying to like make a name for herself outside of Fifth Harmony. So they write this song together, and then they go on the James Corden talk show to promote I Know What You Did Last Summer. And James is reading out these like fan questions, and one of them is, are Shawn and Camila dating? And obviously they both say no, but they're doing it in like a bad way. Like they're denying it, but like it doesn't seem like they're denying it. Do you know what I mean? It's very similar to when Selena Gomez went on the Ellen show and gets asked, this is like years ago, and gets asked, are you dating Justin Bieber? And then she was like, no, he's like a brother to me. And it's like, girl, you're lying. This is very similar. I have to say, I hate watching this interview because it's so cringe and awkward and makes me uncomfortable. I mean, it is James Corden, so like obviously it's going to be all those things. So they say no, and instead of just moving on like a normal person, he's like, there's no way you two haven't made out. James, why do you, a fully grown man, care so much about whether these two teenagers have fucking kissed? And then it just gets worse because they're like, no, we haven't. And he's like, oh, I mean, come on, you're hot. Like, why haven't you kissed? It's like, oh, I just couldn't, me personally, I couldn't look a 17-year-old in the eyes and say, you're hot. I'll post a clip of it to my Instagram. The whole thing just makes me want to die. Anyway, they elaborate. While Shawn says every time he tries to make a move, Camila swerves him. And then Camila says that's 100% a lie and that Shawn friend zones her and calls her a kid. This is very much reminding me of when Joshua Bassett called Olivia a homie. James is kind of like, oh, well, wait a minute. Shawn, you're clearly keen because you're saying you've tried to make a move. And Camila, it sounds like you're keen too. So like, just make it happen. I'm like, why is he playing matchmaker right now? Anyway, you can just tell they're very uncomfortable. Probably because they did have feelings for one another, but maybe they hadn't like talked about that yet, or maybe they hadn't, worked through that, and the right time to work through all that isn't when you're sitting on a couch with James fucking Corden. But yeah, that moment was definitely one where a lot of people were like, are they dating? I didn't think so before, but now I'm kind of convinced. Or at least that was my reaction. We don't really see much more of them in the next couple months after that. At this point in time, Camila is going through her whole Fifth Harmony thing. There's a whole nother episode on that if you want to check that out. And then in October 2016, Shawn is asked if him and Camila ever dated. And at this point, it's been about a year, maybe it's easier for him to clear the air by now, but he still says no, that they were just super close friends and got along very well, and that they, had a nice connection, and he loves writing with her. So he's very much saying like, we're just friends, but we just write really good music together and we have that artistic connection. It's so similar actually to the way Olivia and Joshua Bassett would talk about their relationship in the early stages. Now, for the next couple years, Shawn is occasionally asked about it all in interviews, and it's like everyone is waiting, like, now has it been long enough that you'd reveal you dated? Honestly, he's asked about it a lot, but he just keeps denying things. But he is coming out with these very like clickbaity quotes. Again, it's so similar to Joshua Bassett and Olivia Rodrigo. Like, for example, at one point he says that Camila is girlfriend material and that the next guy who finds her should wife her up. And then he's doing radio interviews saying Camila is his favorite person in the world. And then they post the video of themselves covering Ed Sheeran's song Kiss Me. And it's like they're doing all this stuff, but then they're still saying like, no, we're just friends, why is everyone speculating? And this is kind of my celebrity ick. And Joshua Bassett and Olivia Rodrigo did this too, is when they get like annoyed at us for speculating or for thinking that they're dating, but then they're also doing shit like this. It's very similar to when Joshua Bassett was like, no, we're not dating, why do people think that? And then was like, did you know I improvised the scene where my character tells Olivia's character that he loves her? Yeah, I improvised it because I wanted the moment to be authentic. What? And this is the same. It's like, no, why does everyone think we're dating? Hey, we're gonna release a cover of Ed Sheeran, Kiss Me. Anyway, Camila's also posting a lot about Shawn's success. Like every time he has a song coming out or he does a performance, she's always tweeting about it and saying how much she loves him and how amazing he is. They both also perform at the 2019 Grammys. Camila performs her song Havana and Shawn sings In My Blood with Miley Cyrus, and they meet up backstage at the Grammys and are taking photos together, and they just look super cuddly, and they post these photos on social media and again just exude a lot of love for one another. They also have these cute nicknames. Shawn calls her Carmelita and then she calls him Shawnito. So like, come on. Don't call me weird for thinking that you're dating when you're like doing all that. And then in June 2019 is when they dropped their song Señorita, and it's a steamy love song, and the people who maybe weren't convinced that they were dating would be hard sold after this. Camila at the time also breaks up with her boyfriend Matthew Hussey, who she was dating. So in the music video, they're basically playing love interests and the chemistry is off the charts. They're basically eye-fucking one another the whole 3 minutes 26. They're dancing on one another. They're grabbing each other's faces. She's like straddling him at some point. They're like getting their faces super, super close to one another, but they're not quite kissing. Like they're almost like they'll lean in and then they just won't, So it feels like they're just messing with their fans a little bit because obviously they know that there's all this speculation. We also get this lyric that Camila sings in the song. It says, "You say we're just friends, but friends don't know the way you taste, because you know it's been a long time coming, don't let me fall." It's just clearly about them, because he does always say that she's a friend, and she revealed back in 2015 that she feels friend zoned by him. They also do a cover on V Magazine together to promote the song, and like the photo, again, it's super coupley. Like, if you didn't know who these people were and that photo was the first thing you saw, you would assume they were dating. And then 1 month later, they finally are confirmed to be dating, because they are spotted holding hands, and they're also in the ocean making out, the whole thing. And then they also perform Señorita at the 2019 VMAs. And again, the chemistry is just crazy. And I hate to say it, but it's an iconic moment. It's a great performance. She's wearing this very like see-through sexy dress, and he's in this like wife beater singlet, and it's the hottest that both of them have ever looked. They sold this performance so good, probably because they weren't faking, you know, all that chemistry, bloody blah, was all real. But again, they're like right up in each other's faces, and then right at the end of the song, they both like lean in as if they're about to kiss, but they like stop just before they're about to, and they just like do that thing where you like touch noses together, and man, I hate to say it, but it's a sweet moment. And why does everything iconic always happen at the goddamn VMAs? Those producers, they need a raise, because the amount of times we talk about that one award show on this podcast is crazy. Then in 2020, they enter arguably their most insufferable era, at least in my opinion, because the pandemic obviously hits and they quarantine together. And I don't know if it's because we were all locked inside and there was truly nothing else to do, but suddenly Shawn and Camila's content is just all over my damn feed, and like, I didn't even ask for it to be there. Do you know what I mean? They do this little live event to sing songs to people and connect with people during lockdown. They cover Ed Sheeran Kiss Me again, which I feel like at that point is kind of becoming one of their little songs that they share. They're all over each other's Instagram stories, and of course they're doing their famous pandemic walks where they're going out with the most ridiculous outfits, and there are so many paparazzi shots of them just walking, you know, their mandatory time outside walk that everyone was doing during lockdown. There are so many photos of them that you just know that they called the paparazzi on themselves. Like, it's just so obvious, because it's like, there's no way that there are this many paparazzi waiting outside of their home just to see them walking around, because they're famous, but they're not like, we have to see them on their quarantine walk famous. Yeah, you just know that they're calling those paparazzi themselves. They're walking with their coffee mugs, which half the time don't even have anything in them. I could do a whole episode just analyzing their bloody quarantine pandemic walks. There's one video that someone paps where they're walking so slowly it gets dubbed the zombie walk, and you know, they both look zoinked. Like, they're so out of it. They're literally stumbling around like a zombie, and Shawn states like, no, we were just meditating, like we were just thinking how crazy the world is right now, and we were just doing like a meditation walk. The whole thing is so staged, it's so ridiculous, and it's so attention grabby, and because of all the like self-called paparazzi shots and everything, it's so on the nose that people start to speculate that Shawn and Camila are in a PR relationship, and it kind of all links back to those rumors that Shawn is gay, or I don't know. And so people are like, oh, Camila's a beard, and then it starts this whole other internet drama hole where people are like, oh yeah, Camila and Shawn are just friends, but she acts as his beard so he can like do all his queer stuff. I don't know. Do you know what? I am realizing now that I'm saying all of this out loud, how ridiculous I sound being so barred up about their pandemic walks, but I truly just think you had to be there to understand this. And the other thing is like, the world was going to shit at the time. I mean, like, it still is, but it was going to shit and we were locked inside. And I feel like rather than getting scared about whether my loved ones were dying, I just decided to channel all my energy and all my anger at Shawn and Camila's pandemic walks, because yeah, I remember getting irrationally annoyed by the amount amount of photos that would pop up on my feed of them walking. So from there, their relationship continues to grow post-pandemic as well. Shawn releases his album Wonder, and then he also has a documentary that comes out, and in this he reveals that the entire album is actually about Camila, and she just inspires him so much and brings out all this emotion in him. So at this point she's like kind of his muse. He explains a moment where, you know, one of his songs would come on the radio and he would say to Camila, like, everything's about you. And she would ask what he meant by that, and he said, they're all about you, like every song I ever wrote. So he's very inspired by her. Julia Fox was the muse in Uncut Gems, and Camila is the muse in Shawn Mendes' album. They also adopt a dog together. I think the dog's name is Tarzan. That's pretty cute. And then they also attend the 2021 Met Gala Awards, and this is, so I'd say the Senorita performance at the VMAs was like the most power coupley they've ever looked, and this Met Gala look is a close second. Shawn's wearing these like black pants and an open leather jacket with no shirt underneath, and he's like, truly, he's so ripped. And then Camila is in this very purple, very sparkly dress with like a purple fluffy jacket to match, and Vogue even does this whole like get ready with me video of them, and this is when we get that moment where Shawn looks at Camila wearing her like purple sparkly dress and says, it's giving Cher, which unfortunately for him only contributed to the like him maybe not being straight rumors, but it also gave us one of my favorite internet memes, it's giving chair, where you like just take a photo of a chair. Anyway, it was a whole moment. And then we just start to get little signs that maybe the relationship isn't going as well as it seems. Shawn does an interview and he gets asked if his relationship is perfect, because that's definitely the way that they portray it online, and he says no, they do have these little fights, and he says the longer the relationship goes, the easier it seems to fight, which I was like, well, that's not quite a good sign. And I guess these little fights do all build up because in November 2021 they released this joint statement on their Instagram stories announcing that they are breaking up, which is so celebrity, right? Like that's how we all find out that celebrities aren't together anymore. It's always some like statement on an Instagram story saying they'll still be friends and they still love each other, blah 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 blah. We obviously get some breakup songs from this whole situation. Camila releases the song Bam Bam, and Shawn releases It'll Be Okay and When You're Gone, and then that's kind of the end of that. And there are a lot of ShawnMila stans, as they call themselves, that were devastated, but I don't know. Me personally, I was like, if I never have to see those two motherfuckers walking around with cups again, I'll live a happy life. And this is also when we get into the feud, because in Feb 2023, so a good year and a half after Shawn and Camila have broken up, Deux Moi is the first to break that Shawn and Sabrina Carpenter could potentially be dating. So Deux Moi, if you don't know, is an Instagram account where people can send in anonymous tips about celebrity sightings or celebrity blind items or gossip items, and Deux Moi like posts them. And someone sends in a sighting saying that they spotted Shawn Mendes and Sabrina Carpenter on clearly a date at Horses. Deux Moi asks them if they have any more detail on that, and they say Sabrina was in a little brown mini skirt and it clearly was Shawn with his newly shaved head wearing a white sweater. They were very comfortable. And like I said, this is the like first time that we hear about these two. No one thought that they were dating or anything like that. This is like the very first time that we hear about it. And then the next week, Us Weekly posts some pictures that they've snapped of Sabrina and Shawn taking a walk together, and his hair is in fact shaved. They're hanging out, so it just seems to kind of corroborate the sighting that was submitted to Deux Moi. Now when these photos start coming out, fans pick up that Camila is suddenly liking a lot of photos that Sabrina is posting, and even photos of Sabrina that are on other accounts, like not even on Sabrina's account, just photos that she's tagged in, things like that. But the weird thing is, she doesn't follow Sabrina on Instagram. So it's like, how is all this stuff coming up on your feed if you don't follow her? Like, there could be a bit of, let's see who my ex's new girl is, stalking thing going on. And then in March 2023, Shawn and Sabrina both go to Miley Cyrus's album release party, and they're filmed leaving that together. And then they also attend the Vanity Fair Oscars after party, and even though they don't walk the red carpet together or take any photos together, Sabrina's like doing an interview on the red carpet and she keeps looking behind her at Shawn, and then there's other clips of them in the background talking to one another and like leaning in and laughing, and it looks super flirty. People are like, okay, yeah, they're definitely dating. Some people thought this was PR, which I found so interesting at the time, because I was like, this is the worst PR move ever, because they're truly giving us nothing. Like, we're meant to be PR'd by them talking in the background and leaving a party together. I don't know. But the next day, a source does tell ET that Sabrina and Shawn are dating, but they're trying to like keep things super low key. And then internet sleuths find out that Shawn has been wearing Sabrina's birthstone, which is an emerald, since January. So then fans are kind of tracing it back, thinking they've been together since January, and he was also wearing it at the Vanity Fair party. But of course, Shawn is denying that they're in a relationship, but I wouldn't take that too seriously. He denied dating Camila like 2 weeks before they went public, so he's kind of just a liar, to be honest. And also the source did say they were trying to keep things low key, so of course he's going to say no. So that's all happening in March, and then in April, it's Coachella season. And the internet literally breaks when Shawn and Camila are spotted kissing at Coachella. And of course, there's a video of it too. There's actually several videos of them throughout the festival. They're being super cuddly. They're making out. They seem like they've rekindled. At this point, it's been like well and truly over a year since they broke up, which in internet terms is basically a decade. And so people really weren't expecting them to suddenly get back together. Not to mention that Shawn had been spotted with Sabrina all the time. And so it was just a really bizarre moment. Like, no one thought this was going to happen. And yeah, it obviously went super viral. At the time, it went so viral that I was like, I guess he wasn't dating Sabrina. They were just friends. He's obviously been DMing Camila this whole time. But in hindsight, looking back at it now, it kind of is really giving like the ex that comes crawling back the second that you've moved on or are seen with someone else, and then it's like suddenly they're back in your DMs. And I guess in this case it worked out, because then they go to Coachella together, and yeah, it was such a crazy moment. And then Shawn and Camila are seen going on a few dates over the next couple months. Seems like they're trying to rekindle their relationship, maybe work through some of the stuff that caused the breakup. But in June, they do call it quits again. And in March of this year, Camila actually went on Call Her Daddy podcast, and she gets asked like about the Shawn reunion and what all that was about. And she explains that she can just be very impulsive sometimes, and if she feels a certain way, she'll just say it and like act on it without really thinking, and that it was fun while it lasted, but that she'll always have love for him because he's such a good person. And I don't know, what do you think? Because my assumption is that she saw the rumors of him and Sabrina maybe dating, you know, saw those leaked photos, saw those videos from the Vanity Fair Oscars party, and she probably felt maybe a pang of jealousy, went delulu, forgot about why things between her and Shawn didn't actually work out in the first place, and then went back to him to like learn the lesson all over again, because the timing is just sus. Like, it's been quite a big amount of time since they were last dating, and you know, they're never spotted together during that time. They don't do any Coachella kissing, whatever. And yet the second he starts being seen with Sabrina, all of a sudden we get this Coachella moment. So I reckon around the time he starts seeing Sabrina, I feel like she maybe gets a bit jealous, slides back into his DMs just to like vibe check, and obviously the vibes were on. Then in December, Sabrina releases a Christmas album, and we get the track Cindy Lou Who, which people think is about Camila and Shawn. It's a song about being heartbroken and watching the boy you like being with someone else. We get the lyrics, I saw you laughing in one of his pictures, bet you'll be the one with his ring on your finger. Maybe he met you somewhere in the desert. While he was soul searching, he found someone better. So maybe he met you in the desert. Coachella, very famously a festival in the desert. We also get the lyrics, with your hair so long, lips so red, maybe we met once, I forget, scrolling 5 years back, I'm obsessed, the boy that I love is now in love with you. Cindy Lou Who. So it's a vague description, hair, long hair, red lips, but it does also fit Camila. She's seen with her long hair out a lot during this time, so yeah, I think it makes sense if this is about them, especially given the timing of it all. And then this is why I love Sabrina, because she is such a messy queen. In December, she also posts a TikTok, and it looks like she's wearing Shawn's jumper in it. She's either wearing Shawn's jumper or she went out and bought the exact same jumper. Yeah, I think this just further stirs the pot a little bit, but it's another little breadcrumb for us to follow that we're on the right track. I will say she does have a thing for sharing clothes. I think if you are dating Sabrina, expect your closet to become her closet, because as we know from the Olivia drama, her and Joshua Bassett would wear each other's clothes. When she first soft launched Barry Keoghan, she was wearing his hoodies a lot, and now here she's wearing Shawn's jumper. So yeah, the girl likes to share clothes. Then we get to February 2024, and Camila has dyed her hair blonde. And this is obviously not a crime, but within the context, it is a bit sus, because Sabrina is known for having super blonde hair. It's part of her whole aesthetic and vibe, and now suddenly Camila also has blonde hair. She does also have new music coming out, and she does an interview with Puss Puss magazine, and she does say the new hair is about being chaotic and brave, and that she needed a different physical appearance to channel the energy in her upcoming album, because the album is all about reinvention and entering a new phase. And look, all of that could be true, obviously. Like I said, it's not a crime to dye your hair blonde, but it is just strange when you put it all together with Shawn being spotted with Sabrina. Camila is suddenly liking every single photo of Sabrina that comes up on Instagram, even though she's not following her. Then her and Shawn kiss at Coachella, and then Camila dyes her hair blonde. She also explains that her upcoming album is all about her coming to terms with feeling really confused as a 26-year-old, because she felt like she was in love with this person and then she wasn't, and now she kind of just feels lonely and small and weird. And she doesn't name any names, obviously, but it's okay, the person she's referencing here isn't going to be Matthew Hussey, who she dated in 2018. It's obviously going to be Shawn. And then in June, that's when Camila drops her album. It's titled CXOXO, and it seems like her track June Gloom is potentially about Sabrina and Shawn. We get the lyrics, she's cool, I heard, won't act surprised, I saw the pictures. Which, that lyric I found so interesting. Obviously, she's talking about the pictures of Sabrina and Shawn. I also find it interesting because in Sabrina's song Cindy Lou Who, she had the lyric, I saw you laughing in one of his pictures. They're both referencing all these photos that are coming out of paparazzi sightings of Shawn, right? Camila continues, if she's so amazing, why are you on this side of town? If you like her so much, what are you here trying to find out? That to me is just clearly about this whole situation, because it's true. If he was really with Sabrina, why was he at Coachella with Camila? But if you're still not convinced that this song is about Shawn, she did tease the song back in April 2023 on her Instagram, although she's now deleted the clip, which is so annoying because I really wanted to see that. But in that clip where she teased the song, the lyrics were, are you coming to Coachella? If you don't, it's whatever. If you do, honey, it'll be all I think about. And she apparently posted this days before the Coachella festival, where her and Shawn were spotted kissing after the breakup. So do you know, in my heart of hearts, I believe that they were already like DMing before Coachella, vibe checking, whatever. I reckon she slid in after she saw Shawn with Sabrina. Then she like teased that kind of lyric, which doesn't even end up being in the song once it's properly released. But I reckon it was such an invitation, like, let's meet up at Coachella. And then in July this year, so literally a couple months ago, Camila and Shawn are spotted together again. They were attending the Copa America football final, and I don't know, to me this did kind of seem very PR. Camila at the time had just released her album a month before that, and then Shawn was also getting ready to release singles off of his upcoming album, because that's dropping in October. And you know, if we learn anything from the pandemic, it's that these two are not above doing PR stunts. So I just think that this was very obviously a way to gain some relevancy in the internet again, as they've both got music coming out. I mean, I didn't even know that they had been spotted together in July. I literally found out when I was recording with Tori from Ready to Be Petty, and she's like, oh, have you seen that? Shawn and Camila were fucking spotted again. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, every time I'm about to forget about these two and their stupid pandemic walks, they do some shit like this. And I was so over them in general. I was like, I'm so done. Like, I don't care. The Coachella thing happened forever ago. Like, I've well and truly moved on. And then Sabrina releases her album Short and Sweet, and suddenly I'm like sucked back in. And Sabrina deserves the award for making people interesting. I all of a sudden care about Camila and Shawn again. And on her album Short and Sweet, we get at least 5 songs that are, in my opinion anyway, about Shawn and or about the Shawn and Camila situation. And mind you, this is a 12-track album, so Shawn and Camila make up nearly half of the album. Let me just take you through them. So the one that I only think might be a little bit about Shawn is the song Slim Pickens. In this song we get the lyric, this boy doesn't even know the difference between there, and there, like the different ways that you can spell there. And the reason that people think this might be about Shawn, myself included, is because he does have old tweets where he's misusing, he's using the wrong there. And then she also has the lyric, since the good ones call their exes wasted, in that song as well. So again, referencing someone that you're seeing that then goes back to their ex. Who did that? Shawn Mendes. And then the next song that I think is about Shawn and Camila is the track Coincidence. This one is about an ex that just knows when the person is like moving on. They have like this intuition that tells them that their ex is seeing someone else, and then they come sliding back in. And in this song we get the lyrics, the second I put my head on your chest, she knew. She's got a real sixth sense. Now her name comes up once, then it comes up twice, and without her even being here, she's back in your life. Now she's in the same damn city on the same damn night, and you've lost all your common sense. What a coincidence. Last week you didn't have any doubts. This week you're holding space for her tongue in your mouth. Now she's sending you some pictures wearing less and less, trying to turn the past into the present tense. Yeah, I mean, it fits so perfectly with how the whole thing went down. She also has the lyrics, what a surprise, your phone just died, your car drove itself from LA to her thighs. Damn it, she looks kind of like the girl you outgrew, at least that's what you said. And then we get the last chorus, which is, oh wow, you just broke up again. What a coincidence. And I mean, who else in Sabrina's life do we know that was seeing her, got back with their ex shortly after, and then also broke up with their ex again not that long after that? It's like, yeah, I think this one is probably the most convinced that I am to be about them. And then we also get the song Dumb and Poetic, and I just know that this is about Shawn, because it's a song about a guy who thinks they're like super deep and super empath, but they're actually just a fuckboy. And like, I truly think that this is what Shawn Mendes is. Like, I think this is the type of guy he is. And I also think we all know a Shawn Mendes in our real life as well. They're just the classic. They're more annoying than the classic fuckboys because they make you believe that they're different. Like, they'll be the ones that are like super in touch with their emotions or with their feelings. Maybe they even like go to therapy, and so it tricks you because you're like, oh, well, they're so different. Like, there's no way that this person's going to break my heart, whatever, because they're not like that. Like, they have empathy, they understand feminine rage and feminine pain. And you know what? Those motherfuckers always end up being the ones that actually leave you the most broken because they blindside you. When you go into a relationship with like Brad from the football team, you know what you're in for, okay? But when you take a chance on that shy little weirdo sitting in the tour bus, like, that's not who you're expecting to break your heart. And so I feel like it's just worse. Like, it's always those guys that end up fucking you over more. Does that make sense? Anyway, in the song Dumb and Poetic, we get the lyrics. You're so dumb and poetic, it's just what I fall for. I like the aesthetic. So true, because she was also with Joshua Bassett, and like I said at the start, he gives Shawn Mendes vibes. They're both this person that I was describing, right? That's like super like in touch with emotion, but then still fucks you over anyway. She continues, every self-help book, you've already read it. Cherry pick lines like they're words you invented. Gold star for highbrow manipulation. You're so sad there's no communication, but baby, you put us in this situation. You're running so fast from the hearts that you're breaking. Save all your breath for your floor meditation. You're so empathetic, you'd make a great wife, and I promise the mushrooms aren't changing your life. While you crashed the car and abandoned the wreckage, fuck with my head like it's some kind of fetish. So, yeah. I think this song actually really cemented to me my opinion about Shawn and why I just kind of don't like him. And it's because, yeah, he gives me that energy of like the guy that thinks he's not like other guys, but is actually worse than other guys because he's disingenuous and he like manipulates you. Okay, and then we also, oh my gosh, I just can't believe how many of the songs on this album she dedicated to Shawn. We also get the song Sharpest Tool. It starts, I know you're not the sharpest tool in the shed. And I was like, oh, this is about Shawn. This has to be about Shawn Mendes. She continues, we had sex, I met your best friends, then a bird flies by and you forget. We were going right, then you took a left me with a lot of shit to second guess. Guess I'll waste another year on wondering if that was casual, then I'm an idiot. In the chorus, she sings, we never talk about it, or the silence just makes it worse, or the silence is just your strategy. To me, it's sounding like he ghosted her. I feel like they were maybe seeing each other. Maybe they hadn't put like boyfriend, girlfriend labels on it yet, but they were definitely dating, definitely seeing one another. Then the pictures leak, then Camila slides back into the DMs, then he gets sidetracked, you know, that's what she's saying, we were going right, then you took a left. And then I feel like he ghosted Sabrina. This is the vibes that I'm getting. I reckon in his mind, they weren't serious enough yet that he had to offer up any kind of explanation. And so I feel like he just ghosted her, because definitely in this song, she's talking a lot about like all the silence, or we never talked about it. She has the lyrics, we never talk about how you found God at your ex's house, always made sure that the phone was face down. Seems like overnight, I'm just the bitch you hate now, we never talk it through. How you guilt tripped me to open up to you, then you logged out, leaving me dumbfounded. Like, I feel like I'm there. She's really telling a big part of the story with her album Short and Sweet, because I'm getting all the parts. I'm like, I'm listening to Dumb and Poetic. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm understanding the kind of guy that Shawn is. Now I'm listening to Sharpest Tool and I'm like, oh, he just ghosted you. Like, you know, she has the lyric, if that was casual, then I'm an idiot. It sounds like they were in that weird stage where you haven't fully defined what you are, but you're definitely not casual or not nothing. But then, yeah, oh my gosh. I feel like I'm there with her. Okay, and then the most obvious song that's about Shawn and Camila is her song Taste. It starts, oh, I leave quite an impression, 5 feet to be exact. You're wondering why half his clothes went missing. My body's where they're at. Now, remember the clip in December of Sabrina wearing Shawn's jumper. I feel like this is linking back to that moment. We also get the lyrics, well, I heard you're back together, and if that's true, you'll just have to taste me when he's kissing you. If you want forever, and I bet you do, just know you'll taste me too. So, kind of taunting, right? The ghost of the person that he was with just beforehand is like still lingering. And in the music video, Jenna Ortega is playing the ex that the boyfriend gets back together with. Her and Sabrina are seen like fighting over this guy. The whole vibe is based off the movie Death Becomes Her. But in one scene, Jenna Ortega is wearing this like 2-piece purple outfit and it's super sparkly, and you know what? It just slightly resembles the dress that Camila wore to the Met Gala when Shawn said she was giving Cher. And so like as if it wasn't already obvious enough that this song about a guy getting back with his ex is about Camila and Shawn, I feel like we also get this little nugget with the reference to purple dress to just like confirm that we're on the right track again. I think the other crazy thing is that Sabrina, Shawn, and Camila all just performed at the VMAs. Again, the producers are producing. Sabrina performed a medley of Please, 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 Taste, and Espresso. And Shawn performed his song Nobody Knows. And then Camila performed June Gloom and also Godspeed. So I don't know, they knew what they were doing with that, right? Having all three of them performing at the VMAs. It was good, and it definitely hyped up the drama again, and it really gave me the energy to like want to follow this and look properly into Short and Sweet and like analyze all the lyrics. And yeah, I was just so shocked that so many of the songs were about Shawn and Camila. And Sabrina did do an interview when the album dropped saying that sometimes it's the situationships or the shortest relationships that leave the most impact on her. And yeah, I mean, we can see that with this album, right? Because everyone thought that this whole album was going to be about Barry Keoghan, her boyfriend. I don't know, are they split up now? I lose track, but I don't think anyone was expecting her to dig up the Shawn Mendes law from 2023 and then give us like a deep analysis on the whole situation to the point when I feel like I was there now. Yeah, it was crazy. But let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear all your thoughts on this one. Do you think that the songs that I think are about Shawn and Camila are actually about them? Is there some other guy that I don't know about that she might be singing about instead? Yeah, make sure you let me in on all of your thoughts. I'll wrap up by saying I think the parallels between this love triangle and the one we covered in part 1 are just so wild to me. I don't know, do we think the Shawn Camila situation is almost a karma for Sabrina, because suddenly she's very much in the position that Olivia Rodrigo was in with the last love triangle? And I was thinking about it this morning actually, and Taste, Sabrina's song, is so similar to the sentiments of Olivia's song Deja Vu, which we broke down in part 1. I mean, they both mention instances of sharing clothes. For example, Olivia in Deja Vu sings, and trading jackets, laughing about how small it looks on you. And then in Taste, Sabrina sings, you're wondering why half his clothes are missing, my body's where they're at. They both detail this idea that they were there before and the next girl will have to see their lingering influence on the boy. For example, in Deja Vu, we get the lyrics, so when you're gonna tell her that we did that too, she thinks it's special, but it's so reused. Played you the song she's singing now when she's with you. Play her piano, but she doesn't know that I was the one who taught you Billy Joel, right? Like that's Olivia saying to Sabrina, like you're just getting a version of Josh that I created, that I like influenced. And we have a very similar sentiment in Taste as well, with Sabrina saying, every time you close your eyes and feel his lips, you're feeling mine. And every time you breathe his air, just know I was already there. She also has one lyric that says, he's funny now, all his jokes hit different. Guess who he learnt that from? You can't deny that there's a bit of irony in the fact that 2 to 3 years ago, Olivia was releasing songs like this, you know, saying, I was there first, have fun with the guy that I basically created for you. And at the time, Sabrina was releasing Skin, saying like, you hate to see me happy. You can't get under my skin. And now she's interestingly in that same situation that Olivia was in, and she's reacting the same way as Olivia. Oh, you think he's funny now? Yeah, guess who told him all the jokes he's telling? Like, I honestly just, I think it's very interesting, and I can see a lot of parallels between the two. But yeah, that's all I have on the feud so far. Maybe we'll get a bit more content when Shawn drops his album in October, but if I'm being perfectly honest with you, I have no motivation to listen to that album. I'm not a massive Shawn Mendes fan, in case you couldn't tell, but props to Sabrina because she made me care about him again for another hot minute of my life. But yeah, if you haven't, like, go and listen to Short and Sweet because it's crazy how many songs are about Shawn. Short and sweet, more like short and Shawn. That was so dry. I should probably stop talking now and wrap this baby up. Don't forget to leave a review or a rating if you enjoyed the episode. The next episode will be another bonus one, so make sure you send me any trending topics that you'd like me to cover. I'll do a little question box thing on my Instagram stories at some point this week, and you can submit any topics that you want me to talk about in the next Mood for News episode. And then after that, we'll be getting into another feud. I hope you guys are killing it out there this week. I hope you're not getting into any feuds. I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!